warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Sarhan bin Yaakob. Today we would like to present about big data. Okay, our title is a privacy and security issue in big data. This slide is prepared for ICT550, principle of data management. Okay, table of content. In the first topic, we would like to discuss about awareness of the risk of big data environment, and then an issue in big data sharing, then a challenge persists in big data, and then lastly, impact in big data. Awareness of risk of big data environment. Industry implement of concept of big data to store data for analyzing, marketing, and research. Risk in big data, firstly, is unrecognized backdoor. They said implement of big data in open and free platform may increase probability of unrecognized backdoor and credential. Secondly, vulnerable. Any industry that are not well understood in big data will introduce of any vulnerability. And thirdly, malevolent input. Change of the malevolent input and not enough data of validation. Data in terms of security. Disadvantage big data is potential to threaten the security of an enterprise and measure which need to be taken to prevent this. Advantage of big data in terms of security, potential to contribute to the security of an enterprise and finding way to make this happen. Okay, next, usage of open source in big data. Introduce of risk to code tampering, installation of backdoor for cyber criminal to gain unwarranted access. Security requirement to protect information in big data environment. Okay, in file monitoring, it's identify the file being loaded into big data platform. In terms of policy to encrypt sensitive data. In terms of activity monitoring, monitor and maintain log all administrative activity associated with sensitive stream and data file. In terms of access control access to all sensitive data files stored in the file-based big data analytical store. Cybersecurity approach on big data. Okay, malware detection and analysis. When malware become more ambiguous and persistent. Macro trend analysis malware movement and better understanding and look forward to the direction of the threat landscape. Next, measuring performance. On detection of malware using hypothetical and statistical will provide the clear result. Attribute-oriented encrypt technique. With access to right permission would be required to protect the sensitive national data. Okay, this way to the strengthening big data security. First, isolation of device and serve containing critical data. Secondly, providing reactive and proactive security protection. Thirdly, introducing real-time security policy and relevant event management. And lastly, fourth, center of attention on application for the application function security rather than the device level security. Okay, for the next slide, I will pass to my friends. Thank you.
Okay, hai. Assalamualaikum. Nama saya Zahra. Okay, sekarang saya nak explain pasal issues in data sharing for emerging technology. Okay, first, balancing the benefits of enhanced data access and sharing with the risk. Private, national, and public interest must be considered. Consider from the protection of the privacy lah, and then a risk of confidentiality and privacy breach, and violation of other legitimate private interests such as commercial interests. Okay, for the digital security risk of more data opens, means enhanced access and sharing requires opening information system. This may expose parts of an organization to digital security threats that can lead to disruption of the availability, integrity, or confidentiality of data and information systems. Okay, next is increasing impacts of data breach in personal view. Okay, personal data breach are more likely to occur where data can be accessed and shared, cause significant economic loss to the business affected, which can loss of competitiveness and reputation, and also consumer detriment. Okay, next is the violation of privacy, intellectual property rights, and other interests, like risk of violating contractual and social agreed terms of data reuse that can negatively affect organization incentives to invest and innovate. Okay, lastly is loss of control over data and the role of consent. Once access or share data, data will move outside the information system of the original data holder. Data holder like a data controller, and thus out of his or her control. So the data holder and individuals then lose their capabilities to control how their data are reused. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Muhammad Arif and I will present the challenges persist in big data. So, the big data challenges is the volume, variety, and velocity. So, when we look at volume, the challenges are the volume of data being stored is dramatically increasing every single minute, about 800,000 petabyte of data stored all over the world in 2000. And this is expected to jump to 25 ZB in 2020, zettabyte. And for variety, the tremendous spread out of sensors, smart devices, and social collaboration technologies has made the data in the enterprise complex to deal with. And for the velocity characteristic can be defined by the capacity of the current software application to handle and process data streams generated continuously and constantly at a pace which becomes critical. So next, the big data challenges are the veracity and volatility. For veracity, the correctness level of the data sets accumulating to our system will determine how important this data for the problem being studied. And for volatility, data volatility denotes how long the data is valid, for how long we should keep it in our database. Next, the top challenge in big data. First, we got the dirty data, and then the lack of data science talent, which is nowadays there's not much talent regarding to data science, and then a lack of financial support. This may be the government's financial support is not enough for the data science field. And next, lack of clear question to answer. So next, we got the data unavailable or difficult to access. So here, data is very difficult to access nowadays, and the result not used by the decision makers. Then we got the explaining data science to others. Next challenge is the privacy issues. Next, we got the lack of domain expert input and can't afford data science team. Next, the multiple ad hoc environments and limitations of tools. And next, the need to coordinate with information technology. The next challenge in big data is the expectations of project impact. And lastly, the challenge of big data is integrating finding into decisions. So that's all from me. I will pass to my teammate for the rest of the slides. Thank you very much.
Assalamualaikum. I'm Afiq. I'm gonna talk about the impact of big data. First, the impact of big data on business. One of the major impact that big data has on businesses is the growing amount of data generated due to increased reliance on the internet and the rapid advancements in technology. Furthermore, a major challenge faced by organizations as a result of big data is issue of data privacy and security, which is caused by cyber attack and security skill gap. Second, the impact of big data on workforce. To control the huge data set generated on the internet, there is a need to employ the service of skilled data scientists. There is significant technical gap due to the lack of data scientists and engineers. Companies lack technical talent. Therefore, the analytic positions are still vacant in many organizations. As a result, organizations are relying more on bots and RPA technologies to perform automation and mundane, repetitive tasks like sourcing, data entry, and cleaning data. And the third, impact big data on society. Sectors that have witnessed a radical change due to the evolution of big data include manufacturing sector, health sector, financial sector, the aviation, and lastly, the transport sector. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Arif, Afiq, and Zara for your presentation. Okay, next is our reference. We refer to this link from Manikanda Kumar. And for this library, I get from this site. And lastly, here is an interesting quote from us. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams, by Eleanor Roosevelt. Thank you, sir. Thank you all. And see you next semester. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.